Oh, here we are.
Here we
Okay,
go.
here we are. Yay. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right into it. My name is Britni Bateman. I go by Britni Brainstorm, and I am the creative director of Brainstorm Boutique. And we help small businesses with big dreams through brand strategy and design, web strategy and design, brainstorm intensives, and confidence coaching. And Casey is actually our confidence coach. I'm going to let her introduce herself and our guests tonight.
Hi, I'm Casey. I'm the confidence coach at Brainstorm Boutique. Tonight we have Ivy Calvert. She is a personal stylist. Ivy Calvert is a founder and stylist behind Calvert Co, wardrobe and personal styling. She helps people achieve their dreams by teaching them how to simplify and strategize their style. In the past, Ivy has worked as personal stylist for Washington, D.C.'s premier styling company, DC Style Factory, and was a retail stylist for companies like Stitch Fix and M.M.LaFleur. So it's a really cool background, Ivy. And knowing what you've done for Britni, like you obviously really, really know your stuff. So what I wanted to start off with was asking you, what is a personal stylist and how do you help people?
Thank you so much. First of all, I'm so excited to be with you guys and talk all things personal style. To explain what that is exactly, is I work in clothing. So I help people with fashion, but instead of being a celebrity stylist that works with celebrities, or you may have heard of an editorial stylist who works on like magazine shoots or with brands styling their clothing for advertisements and things. I'm a personal stylist. So I work with regular humans on their regular everyday wardrobes. So it doesn't mean that, your wardrobe has to be regular. It could be extraordinary. But I work with people to curate and really build a wardrobe that works for their life, no matter how that looks. Because so many people end up with wardrobe dysfunction or in a style rut. So my job is really to come in and help them find their special sauce when it comes to style and level it up so that they can go out and achieve all the things that they're doing and dreaming of.
Cool. Hey, so you said wardrobe dysfunction. How do I know if I have wardrobe dysfunction? That's a very interesting term I've never heard.
So how do you know if you have wardrobe dysfunction? I would say some people know, some people don't know, even if they do have it. But a good sign is if you look into your closet and have no idea what to put on every day, there may be something dysfunctional going on in your wardrobe. But I would say another good sign is if you have trouble putting outfits together with the majority of your clothes, if you have a few things that you can make a couple outfits out of, and then the rest of it is just like taking up dead space basically in your wardrobe, that's another good sign there's wardrobe dysfunction. What I would diagnose that as is usually it's a dysfunction of a couple different areas that I help people actually define and kind of realign, which is usually lifestyle is the number one thing. So that would mean you don't have the right clothes for your life. Some people work in an office, but 75% of their wardrobe is Lululemon. I'd say that's they can only wear those clothes so much, right? When they're going out into the world. And then another way is, in terms of fit, there's a lot of people who really struggle with fit and knowing how to find what fits them, knowing what good fit even looks like. That's another big piece of the puzzle. And then personal style dysfunction. A lot of people get dressed and they don't even feel like themselves. Sometimes they don't even know what it is they want to feel like or what it is they want to look like. So that's another big part of my job, no matter where someone is coming from in terms of the problems they bring or the style struggles is usually what I call them. We work through each of those kind of systematically to really get them a plan and establish, what is it you need? What is it you want? And oftentimes we just don't ask ourselves those questions when it comes to our clothing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Casey, I'm going to share this comment real quick if you don't. Alicia Carruthers. So she was on our show. She says,
Last
Michael said, yes, last week.
week.
Man, time's gone by so
I know.
She said, Michael said he doesn't have that laughing, crying emoji. She's right, or he's right, because I dress him.
Yeah.
So he's very lucky. He's got a wife who watches out for him. Oh, Michael did a little monocle emoji. I love that.
That's so cute.
So I'm going to call myself out just right now. I had terrible wardrobe dysfunction, and Ivy, I didn't realize how much stress I put on my own life by having a wardrobe that did not serve me. When I reached out to you, first of all, I didn't even know I needed you. Let me just say that. And then freaking Instagram, somehow I saw your profile and something, that you had shared. I don't even remember what it was, but I know it really resonated with me. And I was like, who is this girl? I'm checking out her website and all that. I was going through your website, and I even saved it. I saved the post. I started following you, and I was like, I'm not going to contact her. Like, I'm full out, honestly, was like, oh, I don't really need to do that. But I don't even remember what it was. I just know I had one morning. What, Casey?
You called me.
Oh, did I?
You went, do I need a stylist?
I didn't know any of this. This is great.
I was like, Britt, if you feel like a stylist is like, would be good for you, then like, do it, girl. Like, do it. And then she was like, I don't know.
Well, it's a bit of a crazy story, and it has to do with the pandemic. So obviously it's a little wild, but I mean, when you introduced me, Casey, you talked a little bit about, some of the things in my bio, who I've worked for before. But I think like a lot of people, my path was not straight. Just hearing the bio like that, it sounds like, boom, she worked in fashion. This is what she was going to do. And then she opened a styling company, but really it was very twists and turns. So originally, I went to college. I was going to go to art school. I'll go all the way back. I was going to go to art school, and I am a Army kid. I was a military kid and had been moving around constantly during high school. And we ended up living in a town where there was a university when I was finishing college. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to go here. I'm just going to stay, because I had friends. And so they had an apparel and textile program there. So I started that. But within a few months, it turned into a music major. I, by trade, am an opera singer. I have 2 degrees in music and went to school for that, and have worked professionally as an opera singer, and still do. I still work periodically. But throughout that, so I started in fashion, and what I originally wanted to do as a young person actually was style. I didn't know how that would work because there's not really degrees for becoming a stylist, actually. It's almost like this tangential career that people end up falling into, even in fashion.
Wow.
But like a lot of people, I watched What Not to Wear as growing up. Yeah. And that truly is a lot of people's connection with what it is to see a personal stylist, because they're working with regular people who have, budgets and kids and, life going on. So that was my frame of reference. Now, fast forward a bunch of years, I moved back to America from Canada, where I had gone to grad school, was living in Texas, was needing, just a job as I was, singing here and there, because it's always freelance. And what happened was Austin, Texas is a hub for Stitch Fix. And I went, okay. So I reached out, got a job with them, got trained by them, and started doing, online styling. They're super innovative, really interesting in the space. But what I learned from that was algorithms and online communication doesn't really make a dent. And what I felt was that I ended up, this is not a knock on that business model at all. I think it's very smart. And I think it's, for some people, a really good way to shop, especially when they don't have access to things. But it is not styling service. So if people are going to it for that, that's not what they're going to get out of it. And for me, as someone who mainly has a heart for people, I didn't feel fully fulfilled by that, because I didn't get to do what I really wanted to do, right? So I moved to DC, started working for a woman named Rosanna Volmerhausen, who ran DC Style Factory, which had been going on for 10 years, over 10 years in the DC area. And she was mainly an in-person stylist. So I kind of witnessed what that was like and how she ran her business, and went into all these people's homes. It was amazing. And then the pandemic happened.
Oh gosh.
Online with them, and then she pivoted her business. Now she's not styling one-on-one anymore. So DC Style Factory as a company is no longer in existence. She does some online course type things.
Oh, wow.
And I had people contacting me after she changed her business. Both people I knew from my circle, and then one or two people who I had kind of had contact with through her business, asking me if I would work with them one-on-one. And I was like, oh, sure, I guess I'll help them out. I'm not doing anything else right now. Because obviously any of my singing jobs had totally dried up. That turned out curvy in terms of that. So I had, contracts on the book that were gone for the next year and a half. So I was like, I don't have anything to do. Sure, I'll help you. And I started
what the heck
in person. And then I went, duh, you open your own. And so then I just took a leap of faith, and, it's not a very expensive business to start, in terms of the fact that, I'm not selling products. I don't need a bunch of money. So I just, put some of my own savings down and started up a business. So
cool.
That's the long version of that story.
I love that. That's a lot.
I think it's the best way to explain it. So why I started Calvert Co. is, obviously it led me down this path. But what I learned, and who I've always been, is a people person, both as a singer, as a singing teacher, as a stylist. And what I've been lucky enough to do through all of that is work one-on-one with people. So voice lessons, classical voice lessons, are one-on-one, you and a teacher in one room. And styling is also a very, very vulnerable moment for people. Just like you were talking about, you were realizing some of these things about your life and how hard it was for you to get dressed in the morning, and the stress that caused you. It's a really it's sort of an intimate moment. And the fact that people invite me into their lives that way, whether it's through a screen or whether they say, sure, I've never met you, come to my home and dig through my messy closet. It's a lot for people. It's a lot. But I learned early on that I had a natural gift for it. And when I learned some of the other, you know, the nuts and bolts of styling, because there's nuts and bolts. It's some people are like, oh, you just have it. And it's like, well, yeah, but there was some stuff I had to learn.
there's a whole process to it.
There's a real process. I was lucky to kind of learn that. But I think why I specifically built my business the way I did was from those experiences that I had at Stitch Fix and then at DC Style Factory. And that's how I developed my process. Honestly, it's very similar to what was done at DC Style Factory. But of course, I'm a different person. So I took that and then put my own spin on it and then changed it up a bit from the beginning. I mean, I started it when I could only work with people virtually. So from the beginning, that was like a mainstay. But the intent was always to be hybrid. And like, if you go onto my website, you're going to see that on the Calvert Co website, is that like we were founded to be hybrid. I wanted to bring that magic of in-person online for people. And then I also wanted to bring, I mean, I'll go ahead and say it, like the magic of online. Some people might not believe that, but there's something really cool that you can do that way. I wanted to bring that in person too, or just be able to bring that experience to more people wherever they were. That's something that I loved about Stitch Fix, and I loved the innovation and some of the systems and technology and the way sort of the boundaries of what we knew personal stylists could do were being pushed. So I thought it was a really cool opportunity, because at that time during the pandemic, a lot of in-person stylists, just like the gal I worked for, were totally having to change their business models.
And you'd already witnessed that. And you knew that that could happen, that you could make that into an online experience. Which I'm going to say that was the best part to me, is the fact that you were completely virtual. Because with my life, you know, you don't always feel comfortable like having people come into your home, because your home is a very personal space, especially for people you may not know really well, which I feel like we became instant friends anyway, because you have like the best personality, and it was just so fun working with you. But I literally just used my cell phone during the closet edit part, because I have a smaller closet, have kind of more of a tighter space. You know, we see all these pictures on Instagram or on Pinterest where it's like these beautiful walk-in closets and all this. That's not necessarily realistic for so many people. You know, it's not. And it shouldn't make someone feel bad about their living space or their storage space because it's not this Kardashian looking home. That's okay. That's reality. But I got to just set up my little phone where I could in my little space, and we got so much done together. And I didn't feel like you judged me for my chaotic closet, which to me, that was a little bit of anxiety for me.
Yeah, I totally understand.
It's stressful. It's definitely stressful. And so something I want to ask you is why it's important for business owners to have a signature style.
Yeah. Oh, I love that question. I think it's important because it goes with your branding. Now, I think most business owners have heard a lot about branding. That's what you guys do. And they know that it's important in terms of, you know, brand recognition, somebody being able to identify who you are, what you're about, all those things. And it's the exact same things in terms of having a signature style. If you are in front of people in any capacity, even if it's online like this, your presence matters as much as, you know, the colors you've used to outline our names in this live. All of it comes together to complete a whole. And I like to use the analogy, actually, that you can lock up your house, you can leave your car in the parking lot, but you know, what you can't leave behind and what you can't hide is your clothing. We have to wear clothing in this society.
Yeah.
And it goes everywhere with you.
Yeah.
It goes with you when you go to the store. It goes with you when you show up to that big business meeting. It goes with you when you go to your co-working space. It goes with
Yeah.
you when you meet clients. So, it really comes down to explaining to people who you are, what you're about, how you want to present yourself. And it's not limited just to, well, my branding appeals to, this is my target customer. So how would I even do that with an outfit? A lot of it can come down to, how do I want to go out into the world? What kind of energy do I want to bring? Do I want to appear serious? Do I want to appear inviting, warm? Do I want to appear professional? And sometimes I don't know if either of you have experienced this, but this is certainly something that I actually strategically do with my style often, and I'll explain it here, is that I purposefully, when I am in front of people or doing something professional, try to make my outfits look crisp and tailored, as well as mature or business in some aspect, because obviously I am young, but I look even younger than I actually am. So, which is kind of funny. But for me, as someone who's young and owns a business, that can be a concern when someone meets you and thinks that you're out of high school, but you're 10 years older. That makes a difference. So it's something that I try to do, just to put my best foot forward and give myself an advantage versus being on a back foot, or, maybe facing a comment from someone that feels a little more personal versus about my business. So I think it's branding, but it's more than that. It can even come down to personal things like that.
Oh, totally. We got a comment from Alicia. It says, "Oh man, I totally look homeless when I run to the store." Alicia prepares meals, and she's always going to the grocery store. She said she goes to the grocery store like 10 times a day. So I think that there comes to a point, Alicia, just be comfy. I've worn every outfit under the sun. I love playing with fashion. I love like high fashion, like runway fashion. I like those kinds of clothes. I like the nice tailored professional look. Where I've settled is like my sweet spot, where like I actually feel like I'm expressing myself when I dress that way, is anything Meg Ryan would have worn in the 90s.
Oh, I love that. She was my hero as a kid. I was like,
exactly. So it's like, I look at it and I'm like, down to like the color, I'm like, I only pick up things that I think that looks like a color Meg Ryan in the 90s would wear. That looks like something. And I've got a nice little wardrobe just meant for me. But I've done every trend. I've done all of it. This is the one that just makes me feel so comfortable. I mean, I had a shaved head for like 4 years.
A long time.
It looks great. But like you're saying, it really does. It controls your interactions with people, the way that you look when you first walk up. So it's like, I don't know if you get into your star sign, but I'm a Taurus, so I kind of have an RBF anyway. So you have to work extra hard to look friendly. And if you have a shaved head,
oh god,
she's tough.
Yeah, you're like wearing like big, like oversized whatever the trend is just then in the big boots or whatever. People aren't exactly just gonna walk up to you and be like, "Oh, that's sweet Casey." They're gonna be like, "Who's this girl?"
So true. Actually, Alicia, she does have a comment that's really good, or a question. What are some simple steps to take when it comes to discovering your signature style, and how do you know when you've found it?
Ooh, Alicia.
Actually, I'll leave that up there, actually, because it's
a great question. Thank you. So I can reference it. Well, actually, I think what Casey just said about her style is actually a good place to start. So Casey has a style icon. It's 90s Meg Ryan. And that is a guiding force for her. So when she looks at something, she goes, does this feel like 90s era Meg Ryan to me? Yes, it does. So she knows that that is in line with, the style that she really feels great in. Identifying someone in TV, pop culture, whatever, someone who there's a lot of photos of available, honestly, or it could be a model, or honestly, even a designer, somebody whose work you love consistently, and you can find enough patterns in it to make it, a style icon, or a, style mentor that you could follow. That's one way. You can also go ahead and gather a bunch of inspiration from the internet. Obviously, Pinterest is a great source, and collect it all into a board. And what I would do is look for patterns, look for what do you consistently like, versus looking at all the different things you like. Look for the patterns in what you do like. And then I would compare that to your lifestyle. So look at what you like, and then think, could I wear this conceivably? And it may be a few steps, different from what you're currently wearing. Like if you wear leggings to the grocery store and you're pinning all of these things of like silk skirts and shearling jackets and things, I would look at that and go, okay, we got a clear pattern here. But yeah, you could conceivably wear this stuff to the grocery store. If it's formal gowns, like, no. So you just have to, again, keep it in this reality check moment. And then once you've found your patterns, whether that's, style icon, looking up images from the internet and collecting them on a, Pinterest board, things like that, or even magazines. I mean, that's like the old school way of doing it, right? That's when the part about the question of how you found it, when you start dressing like that, or if you try on some things in a dressing room or order them to your home and try them on, that's when it's time to look in the mirror, shrug around in it a little, and ask yourself, do I feel comfortable in this? And that's not, am I wearing my sweatpants and I feel like I could sit on the couch in this? That's a different kind of comfortable. And it's not the kind of comfortable we should feel all the time. Because if you're being motivated, then you don't want to be as comfy as you are when you sit on the couch at night and watch TV, right? Those are two different things. But I just distracted myself with that.
No, but that was so spot on, though, about comfort. What is true comfort? I'll let you get back to what you're saying, but talking about comfort is not chilling out.
We'll talk about that in a second. That's a thing for me. But are you comfortable with yourself? Are you dressing in a way that you would be comfortable walking into different situations in? Are you comfortable with how revealing your clothing is or not revealing? Or are you comfortable with what this says about you to the world? Do you feel like you're expressing who you are? And you'll know.
Yeah.
You put on those clothes and you really start to think about it. You walk around, take a few steps. You'll start to feel it, or you won't. And that's a clear sign that this wasn't you, and it's okay to go back to the drawing board and go, I thought maybe this was going to work for me, but I don't think it is. And then you keep tweaking it, but it doesn't mean you were completely wrong. You just keep chipping away.
I want to give my personal experience working with you, Ivy, because I've never really had a personal style. And I think it's because, one, so I don't think you know this about me. I grew up Pentecostal, and we had, very specific dress code then. So I think I've always had like other people telling me what to wear, or some sort of structure telling me what to wear. And then, I worked in retail for a period of time. And it was always about what was in trends in that season, right? So I'd always buy all this new stuff during that season that didn't always translate for longevity. And because of that, I would just, like I said earlier, look in my closet and be like, this does not reflect me. I'd feel stressed out because I didn't feel like it was what I wanted myself to be presented as. But it was also this guilt of having all that stuff and feeling like I should have it, or I should force myself to wear it. And whenever I reached out to you and we did the actual personal style profile, the part that you said about finding patterns is so true, because you made me sit down and we like looked through all these different categories that you presented me with.
Yeah.
And they were categories I never even thought of before. That just shows your creativity, by the way, because they were just things that I never would have sought out for myself. And then by the time I was like, oh, I like this in that category, then you were able to be like, at the very end, like you were just immediately like, okay, Britni, you're classic with a touch of California cool, and you have a touch of rocker and streetwear chic, and sporty chic. And I'm like, whoa, that is me. And I'm like, who is this girl? How's she, like, we've only talked for an hour and now you already had my personal style profile down? Blew my mind. Like, I think I bragged about it for I don't know how long. I was like, yeah, but do you know my style profile? Let me tell you. I'm this and that.
Can I out you on one thing?
Oh gosh, I guess so.
It's not bad, but it goes along the lines of like, I guess like the anxiety of like figuring out your own style if like that's not what you're comfortable with. Because I mean, I'm the youngest. I was just like set free, just like wore whatever I wanted to, whenever I wanted to, and shaped it that way. But we were eating brunch, right? And when Brittany goes, who do you think that my style icon should be? And I was like, I don't know Ivy, but I think she would be so mad if I gave you a style icon right now. I was like, I'm literally not to go against her process and tell you who it should be. And Brittany was just
true.
I so don't want it up.
And I think I told you I didn't have any in my
a lot of people are like, I don't know, I don't have anybody. And you don't have to have one either. Yeah. Like not everyone does. But like, yeah, that's just so funny. I love hearing this like little behind the scenes thing. That, I don't often get to know all these extra stories like about my movements. So this is like extra fun for me.
Oh, there's lots of them, I'm sure, because I pretty much kept Casey up to date through everything. The biggest thing was when you, in like, it was 3.5 hours, I think we ended up doing for the closet edit. And I would like hold something up and you'd be like, does it fit in one of the 4 categories? The style profiles were like, no. And then I had bags of clothes with tags on it, clothes in really good condition, that I will donate and all that. But at first I thought I was going to feel really bad. I felt liberated. Yeah. I felt so free of this stuff that I felt like I should carry on into my life that no longer served me anymore. And that we have to give ourselves permission to let go of things that do not serve us anymore. And I was so thankful that I had you, because you were like, no, yes, no, yes, no. There's a lot of no's. And then it got to the point where I was like, I'm not even going to show you. I'm not even going to show you. I was just like,
yeah, you were like, I already know this is a no.
I already know. I can see your face doing that too.
This sounds like Britni was left with nothing in her closet. Guys, she had a ton of stuff. She really did.
Phenomenal closet. Actually, oh gosh, I should show a picture. I'll try to send my picture of my desktop so that way I can bring it up on the screen share. But Ivy, I'm telling you, when he gave me the style profile, like I didn't know that I needed a box, and it's not a box. Like it actually opens up your world so much, but I kind of needed a container for myself because I am very heavily influenced by others.
Well, we all are. And we're living in an age of being influenced. I mean, we're in the influencer age, right? Yeah. So like, it only makes sense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that that's the best part. So I feel like personally, having diverse jobs, I didn't always have to have like a professional, I've had a professional job where I had to be like there, but I was a creative brand manager. So I could dress creatively, and that was like part of the thing. So I never had to have that, like, oh, I'm in an office and I have to dress like office things now. Yeah. I feel like that's not a common story. And so I was able to like experience all the outfits whenever I wanted to all the time. Also living in Chicago, street style is really big there. I was like really, really into like dressing street style and like, how can I pop in the city of Chicago? Things like that. And not everybody gets that experience. I think that most people don't, and most people don't take advantage of it when they do or feel comfortable with it. And it took me a long time to hone in on all of that. When I was telling jokes on stage, it was like, it was really interesting seeing the patterns in what outfits would already drain me by time I got on stage, just because I was a different way. Or like when I was doing improv, like I can't play a mother right now because I'm dressed too masculine. Or I can't play like a goofy cop or something because I'm dressed too feminine. So it's like trying to find that sweet spot is just, it's delicate. I wish I had had a fast track. I'm not calling you a fast track in that sense, but just like a way to just like, you know, somebody to help me guide through that experience. I feel comfortable to have now, but I feel like especially back when I was on stage, I feel like it would have been nice just to have had that conversation first to sort it all out.
Yeah. And I think like the question we got a little bit earlier about, you know, how do you find your signature style and that kind of thing? And what I explained, what my business does is that it helps you find your signature style, and then it helps you know whether or not that's you. And then it helps you make your wardrobe that signature style. Not to say that it's boxing you in. I try to build things with the most flexibility, mix and match, minimal possible. But that's what it does, because otherwise we can end up floundering and it will take you a long time. And then not to mention the fact that, you know, we're talking about signature styles and getting to this place, and that's all wonderful, but personal style changes throughout your life. And that's another big aspect. So while you may have arrived right now, you know, it'll evolve again, you know, 10 years change. And usually these things are, you know, instigated by lifestyle changes. You move to a new city, that's a new climate, you know, you have a new partner in life. Maybe you become a parent, or, you know, your kids leave home and you're an empty nester, or you leave that corporate job. And you're suddenly in a creative environment, you can wear whatever you want and you have no idea what to wear, you know, so all of those kinds of things can instigate really big changes. I think a good example is I last year I worked with a woman who had lost 70 pounds. And, you know, so not only was she totally starting over with her wardrobe, she felt like a different person. And, you know, some of the things and reasoning behind what she wore in the past didn't apply to her anymore. And she had let go of some of the limiting beliefs about herself and had a whole new sense of self-worth. And, you know, this woman was also over the age of 50. And I find often, you know, that in and of itself is a big change for people, for women, especially. The process of menopause can really change just your mindset about a lot of things. And I should say, I work with people of all ages, and I work with people of all genders too. So, you know, it does depend, but who you are at any given stage of your life can really change. And there may always be a common thread. And usually that is the trick. It's like, well, there is a common thread. Let's get back to, you know, what made you happy in the past, and then let's bring that to who you are in the future. But I think it's a good example. You can have these big changes that, you know, suddenly what you're looking for in a wardrobe is very different than what you accepted in the past. Similarly, I had a client who had just finished up her PhD in nursing, but she was actually active duty Navy. So she, during school, obviously wasn't, it was like through the Navy that she got her PhD, but she wasn't wearing her uniform every day, and had been doing the school thing, and then was going back to active duty service. And she was just updating a lot of things in her life. And as, you know, someone who had worn a uniform all this time for years and then suddenly wasn't, and then was suddenly going back to it.
Yeah.
She had this whole moment of like figuring out who she was and how she wanted to dress. And she was going to go to conferences and things. And it's like a whole new world. So really, it's beautiful because you can get, you know, multiple transformations throughout your lifetime. Not to say that it's all, you know, complicated, but instead of spending years being unhappy with, you know, this, it's so much easier to just get a handle on it and make it joyful. I always say that I bring back the style joy because clothing is expression and that should be fun.
Exactly.
But often it's not, and it gets clouded by like what Britni was saying, like the stress of the practicalities of like, okay, I have to get dressed in the morning. I have to find all these things. I have to, you know, fit into this box, or on the weekend I want to look like this, but at work I want to look like this, you know, and it's easier to have a professional come in.
It is, yes.
Read the tea leaves and the signs and be like, here you go.
I want to show my closet before and after. Okay, it's gonna not be good, guys. So don't judge me too harshly.
This is a great example because you do have a like regular small closet.
Yes, let's see if we can see. Okay, looks.
And I do a lot of closets that are around this size, or maybe a little, you know, slightly bigger, all one long bar. You know, I've done a lot of those. So you can have a well organized closet that works for you, no matter the size of the closet.
Okay, it looks like it's turning me into a liar because now apparently there's some restrictions that I have to give like permission to, but let me see if I can upload these as pictures real quick. And if not, Ivy, then that's just the situation I'm in. Okay, here's what I'll tell you what to do. Go to our Instagram, or if you're on Facebook, look at our stories. We did put it in our stories, so I'm not sharing it in real time like I hoped, but go to our stories. You'll see my before and after on Facebook and on Instagram. But I also want to add, because I know we're getting close to time, Ivy, but I wanted to add how not only did you transform my closet, but you took meticulous inventory of what I owned. And then you went in and literally shopped for me online to find pieces that like to fill the gaps of my wardrobe. You knew exactly what I needed to be able to bring all the things I already own together, which in the long run saves me a lot of headache, a lot of time, and a lot of money, because now my closet, my wardrobe is complete. And I think I've already told you, like, I'm like, oh, Ivy, I think I'd like to work with you during the summer and spring, because I can already see I have some gaps in there for that season. I have a very solid fall and winter season. But even after fall and or summer and spring, I know my closet is going to be pretty timeless for me and the way that I want to present myself. And that when it just comes time for if something changes in my life and I want an update, I told my husband, I was like, I don't think I can like do it any other way ever again. I love it.
Yeah, she'll like FaceTime me while she's like walking to work, and she'll just be like, and then like, love my outfit today. Hang up.
It's true. I've gotten a lot of compliments here lately, and you know, I have a full-time job, I have my business, I have my personal life, and you know, my I lost my full-time job for like 2 days in a row. Like yesterday, it's 3 days in a row, I guess. I didn't tell you this, but yesterday she saw me. She goes, I am just loving what you have going on this week. I love it. I just love it. And so I told her about working with you. And then I said, I'm not going to lie. I said, I did tell her. I said, well, I saw my boss and she gave me a lot of great compliments. I said, and I thought she's going to compliment my skill sets for the week. But she left for the day going, Britni, great. And I thought she'd say great job today. And she's like, great outfit today. Great outfit.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
You're doing amazing.
You're dressing amazing.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? this is exactly what I wanted, and it is working. So
I love
money well spent.
So,
Yay.
Ivy, we're running close on time. Go ahead and tell people how they can get a hold of you and what would be the next steps if they wanted to work with you.
So you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram at Calvert Co Styling. Our website is calvertandcostyling.com as well. And if you want to see more of those closet before and afters, like Britni was mentioning, there's a lot on my social media. I don't know if Britni's actually is on my grid or anything. I'm gonna have to go back and check. I know it was in stories because I did a whole thing on it. So maybe in my highlight of closet transformations. But you can find me on both of those social media platforms, the website, and then if you are interested in working with a personal stylist, you can always message me. I read everything. And then the other thing that you can do if you're ready to get the ball rolling, or if you're ready to have a conversation with me and chat, is you can book a discovery call through my website. It's free, 30 minutes, and we can talk about, your struggles, what the best options are for you, and then create a plan for you moving forward, in terms of what services would be helpful for you, or if I can just direct you to some free resources on my website. And as Britni was saying about, her wonderful result with all of this, which I'm just so pleased. My hope for my clients is always that you leave with more knowledge than you came in with. So this is not the type of service that just does it for you and then you're still stuck in a loop. It's not, a continuous, shopping habit that you've picked up that ends up, draining your bank account every month.
Yeah.
That's not the intent here. Really what it is it empowers you to make some informed decisions about your own wardrobe in terms of your purchasing, makes you a better consumer, makes you better at curating your own wardrobe, so that if you do come back to see me for some seasonal work, you're not buying things every month and you're not struggling all the time. So really that's the intent. And Britni would be able to attest.
Yes.
Did you learn new things? Do you feel empowered with your wardrobe?
One thing we didn't even touch on, Ivy, was just the measurements and the very important tailoring information you gave me on how my clothes should literally set and fit my body. I walked well, and you created me a document. Guys, the documents you're going to get from Ivy are like Christmas Day. I love them. My lookbook, you literally created me a lookbook of like 30 outfits that I can wear. And I don't even have to think. For like a whole month, I can have a new outfit every day. And that is amazing all in itself. But you also have notes specifically on how I need to get my pants hemmed, how I need to get the length of my shirts hemmed, things like that. That is not something I've ever really done before. So all I'm saying is you made my life so much easier. And I'm
so glad.
That is worth everything to me.
I'm so glad. This is all extremely custom. And that's the idea, is like everything I did for Britni was for Britni. So no one else will get that experience. All the tips I gave you were specifically to you. And that's what I do with each of my clients. This is truly a one-on-one curated experience. And I think that's how it's most powerful, and that's how it's most effective. It's why I don't do mass courses. I think there is a place for that, and there's a result that you get from that. But if you want the real deal, this is it. That's what I do. And that, I talked about the power of one-on-one earlier and how that's my superpower. And that's what I bring to the table. So Britni, I'm just so pleased that you had such a wonderful time, because that's what it's about for me, is the transformation for somebody else, and just that empowerment and enjoyment with clothes.
Yes.
You are just like overflowing with it. I love it.
I'm happy. That's all I can say. Well, we won't keep you up much longer. I know you're on the East Coast. You're in a different time zone. But Ivy, thank you so much for your time. And I appreciate you. And I can't wait to watch your business continue to grow, because you do phenomenal work.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me and supporting me and, giving me another platform. Calvert Co has only existed for just like almost a year and a half. So this is
Wow.
still new for me. So I'm trying to, of course, get more of the word out as well. And then Britni mentioned that I'm on the East Coast. I will just plug this. I am moving to Nashville and will be obviously taking my business with me, and we'll start conducting in-person appointments in that Middle Tennessee area. But of course, you can work with me online wherever you are. So
love it.
It was nice meeting you, Ivy. I hope you have a good night and have a safe move.
Yes.
Thank you. It was fun for me to meet Casey. I just have to say this because I learned about Casey like through Britni. So I saw you on Instagram, but also Britni just like talked about some of her family and talked about you and how you were sort of a style inspiration for her.
Oh.
And so it was fun, as a confident woman who knew her style and knew what she liked. And Britni said that she really valued that. And
well, Britni, so some things happened you didn't tell me about. well.
I'm glad to be that bridge.
I love it so much. Well, we'll go ahead and end this broadcast on that note. And Ivy, you have a wonderful week, and we can't wait to watch your moving adventures along the way. Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.